Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium for the fifth and penultimate round of the Sim Racing Collective GTE Masters Championship. My name is Adrian Hunter. Joining me in the commentary box is Mr. Jim Cunningham, also expertly running the broadcast for us all, and hopefully going to help facilitate a bunch of enthralling action here from this high-speed, deeply challenging circuit that's no doubt going to be the penultimate stop on our calendar. Of course, a little bit different. We're not having a sprint format today. It's one 40-minute feature race with a mandatory pit stop somewhere in that length. Qualifying is going on at the moment, of course, but the championship, especially in the pro class, has tightened up significantly. Jim, welcome to Spa. Wow, exciting emotions going through our heads today, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's just great. I mean, got my favorite cars, and you got my favorite track. It's going to be a great day. But like you said, this
Great evening.
well, yes, it's day in the United States, evening in the UK. But yeah, I just pulled up the points here. You are right. The Pro Championship is shaping up to be a great battle.
Yep, so let's remind ourselves, of course, last round at the Hockenheimring, it was a terrible round for Tom Davidson. He was fifth in the first race and didn't finish the second. So he was leading by a bigger margin before. It's been reduced to just 12 points now between himself and Jamie Nuttall, who's still yet to take a win this season, but he's been racking up those second places. Kieran Sharp took 2 wins at both the sprint and feature race at Hockenheim in dramatic circumstances in the case of the sprint, where Jamie Nuttall and Jack Southfield, I believe, both came together, and it was Kieran Sharp that picked up the pieces in the end. In fourth, a little bit further adrift, is Richard Simnor. Jack Southfield himself is fifth on 59 points. Then is Gergely Kunsaba, the Hungarian, in sixth. Is Hibma in seventh. Andrew Pike, ninth. Francesco Petalin is eighth. It was Andrew Pike. It's Petalin that's ninth. Hayden Miller is 10th. Lucas Sauer is 11th. Josh Millington is 12th. William Hamling is 13th. And Luciano Vivoet is 14th on just 6 points. But in the pro class, actually, he is the one lighting up the timing screens, interestingly, at this early phase of qualifying. So, yeah, interesting times ahead for the Dutchman then. Let's have a look then at the Pro-Am standings. No surprise, Liam Giles has been so dominant this season on 128 points. He is 50 points ahead of Patrick Falconer with only a certain amount left. I think it's only about 60 points or so left on the table in the final couple of events of the season. So there is every chance that Liam Giles could wrap it up by the end of play today. Patrick Falconer trying to stay in the hunt. He's on 78 points, a good 17 ahead of Mav Gardner in third. Then it's William Chandler fourth, Paul Smith fifth, Paul Weller sixth, Art Raven in seventh, Nick Clippens ninth, Tumas Kana. Also, I get my 8th and 9th places mixed up, aren't I? It must be heat stroke. Nick Clippens 8th, Tumas Kana, the Estonian, in 9th. Bobby Moss rounds out the top 10 from Thomas Roundtree, Matt Acton, and Stefan Hutter. So that's your Pro-Am standings at the moment. Here's Pro again, in case you missed it the first time.
Right. Sorry.
But we also have the Am Championship, which Clive Bourne won both of the races in Hockenheimring for Big Pig Racing by VRS, his first wins of the season, so breakthrough performance from the Brit. Francesco Cardullo, who's won early in the season but has missed a couple of races, and we don't think he's on the grid tonight either. So yeah, it's looking very, very good for Clive Bourne by virtue of him showing up and performing well more consistently. Stefan Mellis, who recovered from some poor qualifying and bad first lap incidents. He is third on 72 points. Then is Giovanni Zazzara in fourth. Gareth Ronda in fifth. Johnny Wu is sixth, the German, for Cracked Racing. Then it's Matt Smith in seventh. Nick Russell eighth. Mauro Gabbiati in ninth. Valerio Tedeschi rounds out the top 10 from Wayne McNichol, Daniel Roberts, Fabio Falci, and Thomas Martin.
All right, let's
Martin, take one of the few yet to get off the board as well. 0 points.
Let's take a look at some of these qualifying times. I'll pull that up right now, and we'll get going here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like many people on track at the moment. So
no, they're starting to slow down. We're right at the end of qualifying. Oh, Kieran just jumped up there and theoretically took the pole position last minute there. That was a nice little.
And by, is that 100th of a second as well from Luciano Vitvoet, who we were just talking about as well. So yeah, impressive lap from the man on a bit of a winning streak at the moment, and that will be of some concern, won't it? Because if you look at Jamie Nuttall, Tom Davidson not in the top 3 on the grid, then this is the back of the grid.
Oh, my bad.
Probably go from the top to the back just to make it a bit easier to follow. So then, confirmation at the starting grid for our 40-minute feature race then. Kieran Sharp on pole position from Luciano Vivoet, the Dutchman, just missing out right at the end, frustratingly for him. Josh Millington, third. Can he take the win that was denied him at the Hockenheim Ring despite a great effort? Tumas Kana will start 4th. William Hamling will be 5th from Liam Giles, our runaway Pro-Am championship leader. He's, of course, behind Tumas Kana in his class. Marius Hibma will start 7th from Richard Simnor. Tom Davidson, there he is finally, 9th on the grid, though, ahead of William Chandler. Johnny Wu is our AM pole sitter in 11th from Mav Gardner in 12th. Behind Mav, it's Thomas Roundtree in 13th from Patrick Falconer in 14th. Bert Gildenhuys from South Africa in 15th from Clive Byrne. Our championship leader in AM will start 16th. Second on the grid, of course, in class, just ahead of Mauro Gabbiati. Then Stefan Mellis will be 18th on the grid. Matt Acton, 19th. Daniel Roberts, 20th. Paul Smith, 21st. Giovanni Zazzara, 22nd. Valerio Tedeschi, 23rd. Gareth Ronda, 24th. Jamie Nuttall, no lap set by him, is down in 25th, along with Bart-Jan Raven in 26th and Paul Weller, 27th then. So Nuttall, he'd hoped to challenge Tom Davidson for the championship lead. Instead, now, even though Davidson didn't have a great qualifying himself, the main threat, you must be said in pro, is from Kieran Sharp on that brilliant pole position in his Ford GT.
Yeah, and we were talking about it pre-race show when we were in the booth there, and you know, if Davidson has another bad round, a significantly bad round, and Kieran takes another win, it's going to bring Kieran right into the championship, you know. But I'm still kind of caught out by Jamie Nuttall not getting a lap in, and because he was out on track, I guess he had off tracks on his laps, but starting in 25th
it's a long lap.
Starting in 25th place, man, that's a lot of people you got to pass to get up into to some decent points paying positions.
And he risks a big collision on the first lap, starting that far back in the pack as well. We see support in the chat for Marius Hibner, of course, 5th in the pro grid. The safety car pulls into the pit lane. A rolling start is imminent then as the rear of the pack rushes in. Will it be Sharp or Vitvoet that leads at the start here? Kieran Sharp doesn't quite get the getaway. He needs Josh Millington trying to get up the inside, but it's Vitvoet that is in the BMW on the outside. Late braking there from Josh Millington, and he steals the lead through La Source there. Fantastic start from the Englishman there as they go downhill into Eau Rouge. It's Millington from Vitvoet, Kieran Sharp down to 3rd. Then it's William Hamling 4th from Marius Hibner. Liam Giles leading the AM class in 6th. Overall, Tom Davidson has gotten up to 7th in the overall order ahead of Richard Simnor, who's, I think, spun off on this first lap as we see yellow flags out on track.
Yeah, it looks like he had an incident there. We'll take a look at it in a second. Let's let this first lap settle out just a little bit.
It sort of looks on stream like everybody taking it easy under the full course caution, I believe. So yeah, something very dramatic happened near the back, especially to Simnor. Tumas Kana has also had a terrible start, losing 10 positions, and Johnny Wu, for the second race in a row, we saw this happen at Hockenheim as well. He got involved in a big incident, fell to the very, very back of the pack. So here we go. It's 3 cars in the gravel.
Hold on, let me.
More than 3, I think.
Yeah, let me back here and see. Yeah, this actually looks like it happened prior to the green. Yeah, it's just prior to the.
One of the cracked got spun around, and his teammate crashes right into him. He's in the foreground.
Yeah, here we go.
And he'll get tangled up in the gravel.
A big hot mess. Here's what this is.
Yeah, there we go. So the Ford GT spins, and then the Porsche has nowhere to go. Difficult to see about the names, who these are from memory, from only having done one race before.
I know,
but-
right? Yeah, that's the same way I feel. I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to slow this replay down and go back. If we can isolate here what exactly happened, since we are under a full course caution. So we've got the Ford GT here got a little sideways.
That's Kana.
I want to see, did he get tapped and brushed around, or did he just?
I think it was on his own. It was very narrow, but I think he might have just lit up the rear tires there.
Will you look at that? They're 4 wide going in there into a hairpin.
It was never going to end well from that point on,
No,
was it? Oh, there might have been a little tap.
He got hit.
From the BMW.
They're just going everywhere at this point.
Yeah, was there a second incident at the bottom of the hill? There was 3 incidents, I think, on the exit of last source, which is pretty unusual. But yeah, I think everybody getting a little bit too excited. It's not a sprint race; it is an endurance one by TSRC. Well, not quite endurance. We did have endurance championship as well, but by GTE Masters standards, it is endurance at 40 minutes, as we see.
Yes,
Josh Millington leading at the end of the first lap. Luciano Vitvoet and Kieran Sharp then.
Okay, now this is all still the turn 1 incident. I'm trying to see if there was another incident.
So these are the 2 crack drivers. Oh, and while trying to avoid that, he gets caught up with his other teammate as well. And is that potentially Johnny Wu there,
Johnny
right
Wu,
at the back?
Yeah, that was Johnny Wu, and Stefan Mellis was involved in that as well. Wow.
Is Mellis still in the right? I think Mellis might. No, Mellis is actually 3rd in the AM class somehow.
Yeah,
after that.
Yeah, I don't think he had big contact or anything. I think he might have just got off track there.
And safety car was deployed for that. I did miss that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, when you said full course caution, I forgot that they use use a system here that will deploy not a virtual, but a safety car. It's one of the few leagues that I broadcast that uses that, and I don't think it's manually thrown. I think there's a software or something that judges whether or not one needs to be thrown. And I know they were testing it out back when we were doing that BMW series that I was telling you about with them, and I think they they kind of like which it did a good job. That they had one little incident where it threw one a little early, and I think they made some adjustments to the settings, and I think it's done great so far. And I guess they're obviously still using it here. So,
anybody pitted under this safety car out of interest in terms of strategy, or because it looks like they've all stayed out at the front at least?
Yeah. Well, have they got trying to figure out where they're at?
They are just going through Pujon at the moment.
Okay. So, yeah, it doesn't look like that anyone pitted at all.
Okay, not even Tumas Kana after that spin, but I suppose...
it didn't look like anybody had too much damage there,
Yeah, a couple of people in the gravel, but there wasn't a lot of
contact. They probably take that lap under the safety car to figure out if their car's damaged or not, Like you get out there, you feel it out a little bit, and if feels like it's got some damage, then maybe
it could also be the TSRC, maybe, given that this is effectively, like I said, a sort of one of them longer races, and they are sort of, at least in green flag conditions, allowed to pit from the first lap. It would be, in theory, a huge advantage to pit right now, so they might have closed the pit entry.
It would. Yeah, that's a good point. I do not know if the pit entry is closed, but if
I guess we'll see when they get there if anybody dives in, but the safety car might be about to come in anyway, given the length of the lap.
Even if the safety car comes in, it would still be advantageous to pit here, because you're still going to save more time pitting now than you would under full green flag conditions. So
true, less so if they were doing another lap under safety car.
Well, I don't think they're probably not going to do another lap under safety car, but even so, you're still going to save quite a few seconds, because the cars, have to get around and get up to speed, as opposed to just running at full speed under normal green flag conditions, So it would still be advantageous to pit here, especially if you're one of the cars like Nuttall. Just if I'm Jamie Nuttall, I would probably pit here. you know, because he's fast. If he makes this pit stop, then he's going to have clean track. Oh, Kieran's
and in
pitting.
they come. So pit lane is, so that's Josh Millington, sorry.
Oh, yeah, they're all coming.
Followed by pretty much everybody else. Is anybody going to gamble? Patrick Falconer is gambling.
Falconer, yeah, he stayed out. It looks like Mario Gabbiati's staying out. Richard
Siminer as well, I think.
Siminer staying out, yeah. But you got most of the field pitting here, which, again, makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder if Jamie Nuttall... Jamie Nuttall's come in, I think, with everybody else. So, yeah it's only a select few that are taking the gamble here. So that would be Falconer, Gabbiati, Simnor, Zazara, Tedeschi under this safety car that are either going to pit the next lap around, as we see there we go. Ooh, that was quite close, actually, was that Millington and Tedeschi, actually. So Tedeschi and the Ferrari coming out just behind then. In fact, there we go. Millington lets him through, interestingly, but you can see also Sharp has gotten up to sort of net second of those that have pit, because what on earth has happened to Pitbull? He's dropped all the way down the order to 7th in the pro class.
I wonder if he forgot to turn his tires off or something.
Yeah, it could be. The thing is, always see a Porsche coming steaming, having to get on the brakes on the Camel Straight in the background there. That's one of the cracked cars.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if he forgot to turn his tires off. You know, that's so easily can happen.
I think that was William Hamlin, because he's the highest of the cracked cars in the overall order. So yeah, good evasive maneuver there. But
I am surprised that they took another pace lap here. Another caution lap.
Can't let it get too exciting, can we, Jim? After that,
I don't know. I'm not sure what. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but it just seems like we were sorted out pretty well, unless there was some issue.
There's nobody in the gravel.
Yeah, no. There was nobody left. That's the thing. We don't have to tow cars here in real life. You know what I mean? So we've got a situation where we can. They just
in
push the button.
In theory, you should be spending less time behind the safety car than you would in real life, because.
And I mean,
it's
this
more
is
of
an incredibly long lap. Spa is one of those tracks.
There's only really in real life. There's one reason for the safety car, and it's in the name, which is to sort of slow the pattern and prevent any sort of serious sort of collisions. In sim racing, the safety car is either so if there's a big accident, those that lose out can catch back up, and also just. Sometimes they'll just use the safety car role is to make a dollar race more interesting, effectively. So, if you want to take a cynical view, essentially. So, yeah. So,
well, yeah. I mean, that is, certainly a. It does definitely works well for a broadcast or something when the field gets spread out and then they pull them all back together.
So here's the question I have here for you, Jim. So Patrick Falconer, Gabbiati, Simino, Zazara, and Tedeschi to try and sprint away and hope that Millington, Sharp, all the rest of them are held up. So the fact that 5 of them have decided to stay out rather than just one of them, that's quite helpful for Patrick Falconer, isn't it? And of course, he's the only pro-am, rather, I should say, that's decided to take the gamble here.
I see no advantage, personally, I see no advantage from a strategy standpoint of staying out at this point. They're going to be quicker because they're on roughly 40% fuel with some burned off because of the laps that we've run under pace car or whatever. Probably didn't burn that much fuel, but some. So they're going to be significantly lighter than the cars that went in and put a full tank in to make it all the way to the end. So in theory, they should be able to stretch it out a little bit, but there's no way they're going to gain enough time to make up for, all these guys that
safety car in. So we're about to get back to green flag then with Patrick Falconer leading the way. Remember, he's in that championship fight with Liam Giles, who's actually been jumped in the pit stops by another Param driven by Thomas Roundtree. So Roundtree getting a very, very good stop. Falconer, though, leads the way. As you see immediately, Millington trying to make the move on Tedeschi. Decided to play it safe under the safety car. But let's also, again, it's Millington on the move. And surely now Kieran Sharp is going to be under pressure to follow him, as this time it's much cleaner through the first corner as they go downhill towards Rouge and Radion once more. But Falconer crest the hill. Gabbiati has got Simonor all over the back of him, and Zazara in the Corvette is keeping close company as well. As we're about to see a move, is that Millington continuing to make places here as it's getting a little bit scrappy as they crest hill. Simonor now up to second past Gabbiati, and actually Millington has lost a load of positions here, and it's now Kieran Sharp that is back up to second in the pro order.
Yes.
I didn't see what happened to Josh there.
I did not either. I just think he got shuffled.
Might have been a connection issue.
I don't. Well, maybe. I don't really show that he dropped like that. You know, like I think it would have showed up on my incident thing. Go back up here and look at Faulkner, though. See if he can stretch it out a little bit. I mean, the one advantage is he's, of course, running in clean air right now, and he's not having to battle. You know, that helps. And I guess nobody pitted on that last lap, you know, on the last caution lap. That could have been a little strategy in that, because then they wouldn't have been around any cars, and they could have just turned, you know, qualifying type laps out there by themselves.
Sort of, but you lose that advantage of doing the early pit stop and then sort of. Yeah, because it's a free pit stop, essentially, apart from the fact that you emerge behind the people who stay out, of course.
Right.
And you lose that track position. But yeah, for Kieran Sharp, staying out of trouble there has worked beautifully for him.
Sure.
Because Millington, trying to catch back up, you can just see him in the sort of pinky, just pink for GT.
That's red.
Yeah, it's a lightish red. As now he is sizing up Hibma into the bus stop chicane, but the BMW holds firm then. So Millington, of course, is fighting in class against Hibma. Then it's Sharp, and then Richard Simonor, who sets fastest lap race. But Hibma, actually, 2 minutes 15.9 is the fastest man on track at the end of the first full lap of actual racing then. We also see further back, Vitvoet has hit more trouble and dropped behind Davidson and Hamling. We see Paul Weller and Bart Raven, I think, going side by side in the Pro-Am class.
Yeah, here's Vitvoet right here. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, there's him and Hamling.
Too wide through there, man.
And Vitvoet in the red BMW, Hamling in the blue. And Vitvoet really had to hold his nerve going side by side for Original Radion. Now he fancies to go with the Corvette in front of him. Is that Tom Davidson?
I believe it. Yes, it is Tom Davidson.
Because we haven't got the... There we go. It's been guesswork up to now, but now we've got confirmation, as it looks like one of the Pro-Ams, that's the BMW, moving out of the way for all of them. And, Vitvoet actually caught a little bit by surprise and has to go around the outside through Rivage and now Speaker's Corner. That's Liam Giles, third in Pro-Am, who's trying to catch back up to Thomas. Roundtree really does not need to have Vitvoet alongside him there. That was a distraction he could have done without.
Right. This is, man, I tell you what, they're going too wide through some corners that I would never attempt that in. These guys have more nerve than I do, for sure. Going too wide through Eau Rouge and Radion is not for me. I struggle to get through there by myself.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's certainly not for the faint of heart, especially in these GTE, but that's why they call it the Masters, isn't it? Especially in the Pro class.
I love this car. Have you driven the GTEs?
Don't own iRacing, so it would have been difficult for me to have done so.
They have them in... I think ACC has them and Le Mans Ultimate has them. But the beauty of this car is it's very much like a GT3 car. I believe it's a little lighter, has a little more horsepower. But what it doesn't have is it doesn't have ABS brakes. So you have to have a gentle foot on the brakes, or you will just absolutely destroy your tires. And so it's a fun car to drive. It does have traction control, but it does not have ABS. So that's a big difference, and ABS makes a huge difference, when you're driving these cars. So to me that's the fun part. I love them because I happen to be someone who brakes pretty well, but I have a heavy foot on the gas. So this car works well for me. He's making a move.
Yeah, he is getting the Porsche up the inside. And he takes the overall lead of the race away from Patrick Falconer. But remember, Simnor in the Pro Class, Falconer in the Pro-Am. From Falconer's point of view, it wasn't really worth fighting that one too much there. But this is ideal for Simnor because, of course, Kieran Sharp is next in line to attack Falconer. So he needs to make hay while he's got the clear track ahead of him now because Sharp was catching him up to that point.
Yeah, indeed he was. That's
and Thomas Roundtree's hit trouble because he's fallen out of second position and dropped to fifth in class.
Let's see what happens. I think he had an incident here for sure.
Yeah, it might still be playing out, but in the Big Pig by VRS car. Second, you can see Liam Giles right behind. And he loses the back end. Giles actually gets a bit held up by that and loses another position to one of the pro runners. Roundtree gets going again, but it's pretty like under pressure. He just locked the rears.
Well, I think that's a brake bias issue. You know, that's what that. The brake bias, I believe, was probably set wrong on that car, and it caused it to snap around like that. That's not a natural place where that car would do that, you know. So I guess he had the brake bias crank back too far and caused that car to snap around like that.
Crucial move for Kieran Sharp. He's going to the outside of Falconer into the bus stop. That'll give him the inside. For the exit there, he planned that one in advance there. Falconer, actually bad exit there.
Yeah, I think he lost traction there coming off the turn, and now he's got to race. He's in a bad spot here now because he's stuck on the outside going through the source here. Yeah,
so Richard Simnor will be delighted at that because he thought Kieran Sharp was getting through to catch him easily.
I tell you what,
and now we see Tom Davidson in the pit lane, championship leader in the pits, down in 8th. So that's not good news for him, but it's very good news for Kieran Sharp.
Yeah. I'll have to look at the time. Yeah, that's Tom's second pit stop, so that was a
unplanned one, yes.
Yeah,
and now Sharp side by side down the Camel Straight with Falconer. Is he going to be able to complete the move up the inside into Lecombe? Yes, he is. Yeah. Kieran Sharp up to second. Next target, Richard Simnor. As William Chandler passes Matt Acton briefly in the Pro-Am fight for third, but Acton has held that position.
Something happened to Weller just now?
I think so. Matt Acton has actually fallen behind William Chandler now. But yeah, Thomas Roundtree, Paul Smith, Matt Gardner, and Paul Weller all swapping positions. But Weller has been the big loser in that little fight there, I think. Also, we got to praise the performances of Gabbiati and Zazra, who are keeping up with the Pro and Pro-Am leaders in this race, quite convincingly, having stayed out at the field stop.
Yeah, no, Gabbiati's looking strong here. But again, you know, you got Kieran Sharp is on a full tank of fuel. You know, so his car is going to be a little slower right now. So some of these cars that didn't pit, you know, they're running on a light tank of fuel, which does make a difference in times.
Yeah, it does mean they're going to be a little bit faster down the straights, a little bit more nimble in maneuvering, but of course, even on a heavier fuel load with fresh tires, a faster driver can make the difference here at Spa. As we cut a little bit further back, William Hamling in a little bit of a battle in the cracked racing car alongside one of the Corvettes. Is that for overall position? Was that Jamie Nuttall? He might have just passed out. I think it was.
That was Giovanni Zazzara.
Yeah, there we go. So Zazzara now starting to lose position in the pack. Millington was closing on the back of, I think, Falconer in the fight for third overall. With all our classes so mixed up, it has left us with a bit of a chaotic first couple of actual racing laps in this race then. But keep an eye on the times, Sharp versus Simnor, because if Sharp gets stuck behind Simnor, that could play into the hands of Millington now, who is starting to line up Gabbiati.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Look at this. Sharp going for the lead just ahead of them, and he's through on the outside as Millington does the double and dispenses with Gabbiati. There can Sharp complete the move into Lecombe. Simnor, not late enough on the brakes to stop the Ford GT going through there. And Kieran Sharp, after losing the lead at the very start, retakes it in spectacular fashion.
Man, I tell you what, he is... it's funny to talk to him. You know, he's such a nice guy, funny personality, kind of really easygoing, but man alive on the track, he is he is a different person. He is aggressive and fast, man. So
Yeah, and halfway through the race, by the way, this is working out beautifully for him in the championship because Nuttall is 7th, Davidson 8th. You're not getting a lot of points down there. If it finishes like this, Kieran Sharp getting to the final race this season is going to be in with a very, very good shout of stealing this title away from both Davidson and Nuttall.
Which would be quite impressive considering he missed 2 rounds. Tell you what, it's not over. The battle up front is not over by any means. Sumner's got plenty to say about that, and you got Millington is working his way back up there as well. He's fast right now too.
Yeah, and he's got a bit of a point to prove, isn't he? Because he seemed to make that mistake on that. He was leading at the restart, of course. And, of course, there's what happened at Hockenheim, where Sharp again stole the win. So he wants to get his own back here. So sure. Sharp is not out of the woods. And if Simon on the lighter fuel load can sort of find a way through, because the danger is having Pitt, someone like Kieran Sharp could, in theory, sort of breeze through their tyres and all of a sudden be a bit of a sitting duck to the Porsche on the lighter fuel load.
Oh, absolutely.
There is a bit of management still at this phase, even for those, in theory, that you should have the advantage on tyre life.
But the thing about it is, if you're Kieran Sharp and you know Simner has not pitted, you don't fight him for, you know what I mean? Like if he's really determined to get around you, just let him go. He's got a pit, you know? Don't risk damaging your car. Don't risk wearing your stuff out. You know, he's got a pit, so you've got time to make it up. What's going on back here? Oh, this is Hibna working his way up. He just passed Gabbiati, the leader in the AM class. Gabbiati still holds his own. He's down to 6 now.
Millington's round. Lecom.
Oh my.
Oh dear, he seemed to come together. I think he was trying to make the move on Falconer, wasn't he? And it worked out spectacularly badly for the Englishman. And Millington, we were just talking him up, and immediately a bit of impatience creeped in.
Did he? Millington's
was
still
certainly
around?
A collision.
No, that was somebody else. I believe that was Paul Smith.
Oh, that was a bit further back. There was definitely something that happened to Millington because he lost a bit of time as Smith, as he just gets it all wrong at the top of the hill. Oh! And it gets collected by one of the Porsches.
Holy cow, that's a bad place to be stopped right there, too. That is right on the racing line.
Right, so that was Paul Smith and Bert Gildenhuys, I think, that came together.
Yeah,
there.
I see nothing that happened with Millington at all.
It must have just been a sideways moment on his own then.
Yeah, I guess maybe. But, man alive, that was, holy cow. Who was that that got taken? Was that Bart that got taken out?
Bert, yeah.
Bert, yeah, not Bart. We got a Bert and a Bart.
We got a Bart Simpson out there, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. I've been screwing that up all night, so.
You might think of Bart Raven, you're right.
No, it's just, yeah, well, it was just that when I went to put the names in, the Bert guy is new, and so I had to add his name to the list, and I was clicking on Bart, thinking I had Bert. It was just one of those things. So.
Yeah, but look at this.
Oh, sorry.
Hidmer now is starting to catch Millington.
Yes.
As we see, there's a bit of a gap now because of that incident between Falconer and Millington. And now that's really playing into the hands of Danish driver Marius Hidmer, who's continuing to be cheered on in chat by Inferno, which is great to see.
Yeah, I love that.
Lovely to see that support for our Dane, who, let's remind ourselves, in the Pro Championship, where is Hidmer? He's 7th at the moment. Best finish, 4th in the sprint race in round 2. He's missed the first race and the most recent race at Hockenheim then.
Millington just made a move for 3rd place.
He got a bit cleaner this time.
Yeah, he got it done too.
Falconer.
Yep.
But Falconer knows his fight is with Liam Giles. He's now started to catch him in that number 29 BMW. You can see just coasting up in the background as well. Or is that Hibner, sorry, in the 94?
Yeah, no, that's Hibner back there, yeah.
Yeah, it's Liam Giles, a bit further back.
Yeah, there's Giles right here, yeah.
Giles has been playing it quite sensibly, letting everybody through, whereas Falconer has been, for the most part, up until that move of Millington, defending like crazy, it seems.
You know, I get that, you know, if no matter what class you're in, if you're in 3rd place, you know, it's hard to give that up. You know what I mean? It's tough. You want to, you know, if you're an AM or a Pro-Am driver, you want to show that you can hang with the big boys, you know. I get that, but I also get the theory of it's not your battle. Don't don't damage your stuff. Don't. So right here we got Matt Acton, right? He just Roundtree just got by Acton. Is that right? Yes. So Matt Acton. There's been a a thing that I've been doing with Matt Acton for a while now.
Well, Hidmer's right behind Millington. Sorry to interrupt you, but there's a battle for third going on in Pro.
Well,
and Hidmer, I think, has just had to back out there into bus stop. That seems to have resolved itself.
Okay.
I'm commentating on a timing screen, don't worry.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah, Matt Acton is lining up Roundtree. So let's talk a little bit more about Acton. Then, as we see, Patrick Falconer has gone into the pits. So that has Liam Giles back the lead of the Pro-Am class as we see Acton going a bit wide at the bus stop.
Yeah, so Matt Acton and I go back to a time when hold on. All right, I'll have to set.
Trying to remember how far back you go.
Yeah, so no, I was trying to set something up. I didn't have this thing turned on because Matt Acton hasn't been here in a while. But anyway, so he made some kind of crazy move in a race that I was covering. And I'll tell the story, then we'll come back and look at him a little later. But anyway, looks as Vitvot making him, Vitvot making a move right here.
Round the outside at Lecom, he completes the move, and Vitvot, who was on the front row of the grid at the start, had a horrible start, and is now fighting back up to fourth in class.
Yeah.
Next up, Josh Millington. So Hidmer has lost a lot of ground to Millington.
Yes.
Since the previous lap.
Yes, there must have been a little action there. Looking here, I see an incident. This is Tedeschi. Tedeschi
is out. Interesting.
Yeah, something.
No, he's still in. Still going.
Gonna look bad though, right here. I'm guessing.
Is he going in the
pitted. It's pitted. Okay.
Okay.
Why did it show you?
Doesn't hit the pit wall.
It showed he crashed because the way the software works is when a car goes below a certain speed, it shows him as a crash, and he obviously just slowed down really slow to get into the pit lane entrance, and so that's what happened there. But look at Seminer, man. He is not giving up on catching Kieran here.
I think we're still in a replay, Jim.
Oh, we might be. Well, it's not replay, but it's a little further back. You're correct. But thank you for that. That wasn't very subtle either. We got to work on on you being more subtle.
Ixnay on the E-play as that into the pits comes Simnor. don't know if Latin, pig Latin's going to work either.
Ixnay on.
Okay, when they were doing Latin, when they were designed the language, they didn't have iRacing in mind.
This is,
I think.
Hey, we're watching this. This is Sim Racing Collective. It's Big Pig Latin, okay?
Oh, of course.
You like that one? I pulled that one out real quick.
Love it.
Yeah, I know. So
kind of thing you get away with when James Parfit isn't around.
Yes. No, he would like that one. He would have liked that one. That'd been right up James'
ultimate dad joke. Yes. So let's go over. We've had a few pitters then.
Yes,
so Richard Simnor has pit and come out in 7th, still ahead of Tom Davidson actually, who did pit.
But twice.
He's pit twice for seemingly unexplained reasons. It's only now that just started to lap a bit quicker. He's come out within about 3/10 then of Simnor. So Simnor has overcut him essentially. We see our two AM leaders, Gabbiati and Zazra, who pit. Gabbiati's come out in 4th, Zazra in 6th. And we also talked about Falconer. He's come out in 8th in the Pro-Am class. As we see Kana and Raven. Oh, actually, Bart Raven has hit trouble because he's dropped behind Falconer. Down to 8th he goes.
He has. He does.
There he is. He pulled right to... Oh, no. That's Tumas Kana right in front of him. So, yeah, the cracked car, I think, having a few issues earlier in the lap and now just trying to get back up to speed. The front of that Ferrari looks a little bent, in my opinion.
It does look a little worked over. He was doing some custom body work on it, apparently.
Yeah, during the race, which is always ideal.
So I'm looking.
It's unlike the present, I guess. But
right.
It is the cracked racing team, so it makes sense to crack the bonnet during the race.
Okay, yeah, that was as bad as my dad joke there. All right. Oh, let's see
Yeah,
here.
I'm not even a dad, so I've
Looks
got
like
no excuse.
something happened to Rhonda.
Okay. So this is Gaff Ronda.
Oh, yeah, this is not a good spot. We know probably coming here. It is.
Oh dear.
Golly, I can't tell you how many times I've done that.
And he does a stylish 360
He does.
though.
Let me tell you, okay. So here's a little story for you. The other day I was driving, I was playing another sim, but it's a high quality sim, but it does allow you live tire temperature reports. And so I spun the car around, and so I was aggravated. So I decided to do one of those, quick spin arounds where you just burn them off good. The tire temperatures jumped like 100 degrees in the car, and literally, and it was almost undrivable for a quarter of the lap after that.
Here we go.
Look at this right here.
Is fighting back against Vitboet, but has to tuck back in behind. As you can see, is that another BMW behind them, I think, from the Pro-Am class.
Yes, Giles.
Trying to get involved in it's Giles, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it would be Giles. He's dominated Pro-Am
right.
for most of the season.
I was shocked that he wasn't in first the whole race. The fact that he was in second and third there for a while.
Well, it's because he sensibly decided to pit under safety cars. We see Carter and Falconer swapping positions. Tumascana gets back up into sixth position there. So Falconer, in theory, should have the fresher tires.
Well,
so those pitting late, that's their sort of sole advantage. Somebody in the restream chat also asking, as Yellow Minion 18 asks, is D. Roberts, which I assume is Daniel Roberts, still in the race? Yes, he's at the very back of the AM class, 11 seconds down the next car, but he's still going from Motor City Racing, Daniel Roberts. So,
in the world is that a hockey paint scheme he's got on that car?
It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse.
No, it's not. No, it's like almost like a Roman or Greek type statue or something.
Yeah, sort of enlightenment thing with a guy holding the sun or something.
Yeah, that's a good looking paint scheme. I like that. Yeah, he's unfortunately he's out here running by himself right now, but he is. Oh yeah, that's cool. He is still in the race. So there you go. There's your update on Daniel Roberts.
Closest battle, I think.
This right here, this is the action right here.
Yeah, and if you're Liam Giles, this is a little bit of a annoying situation because he's right behind two of the pro runners.
Yep.
He's lapping a little bit quicker than both. It's Hibma and Vitvoet in front of him. So 2:15.7s for both of them, and Liam Giles is matching that.
Hey,
of course, he's not been caught by Chandler behind. Chandler in the 2:17, 2:16.8 on that last lap. So the main threat's probably more from Roundtree.
I tell you what, though, don't look now, but look back in sixth place. Guy who started at the back of the field. It's Jamie Nuttall, and he is. That does not look like his paint scheme. Hey.
That was the one he was using in Hockenheim, wasn't it?
Is it? Okay. I thought he was using a different one. But, trading paints has been a nightmare lately for people. But anyway, yeah. Nuttall started at the back of the pack, didn't get the qualifying lap in, and, he's in sixth place. He's up 18 spots. Last lap was 2:16.24. That's the second off our leader. But that was his last lap. He may have had a little something. Or
a little bit wide at Speaker's Corner. Of course, Richard Simnor in the Porsche is being held up a little bit by some of the Pro-Am traffic, so that releases Jamie Nuttall. Simnor having made the pit stop, 5 minutes to go, he's running out of time to catch Jamie Nuttall. We also did see him move for second in Pro-Am. Thomas Roundtree got past William Chandler. And he's only lapping about half a second slower than Liam Giles. And given Liam Giles' dominance, that is pretty impressive then, as we look at Simonor.
This race has flown by. This race has flown by. Feels like
with the safety car beginning, it felt like it was never going to start.
Well, but I mean, it just feels like it's, feels like this has been 15 or 20 minutes.
You should try doing endurance racing. 24 hours Le Mans this weekend.
Well, I have done some, but we do like 3-hour stints in the broadcasting or something, but yeah, I love endurance racing. I love sports car racing. in general. Here's Chandler making a move on Roundtree, and right
He's just
behind him.
been overtaken.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roundtree is going to start to try and see if he can pull away here. He was 0.6 quicker the previous lap. This lap, they crossed the line. What's it going to be for both of them? Oh, again, 0.8 quicker for Thomas Roundtree here. So Chandler is relying on the slipstream in that Porsche. We know how quick the Ford GT is in a straight line. Has the Porsche got any grunt here, as it looks like Roundtree's starting to defend a bit?
He's got he's going to have a good draft here, but we'll see after they get once they get on the Kimmel Straight here. We'll see how that goes. But you know, he's certainly going to get a nice toe down there. He pulled out early.
Here we go, side by side. It's Chandler on the inside. He should have this corner, but Roundtree's not giving up in that BMW.
Yeah,
who gets the apex first? It is William Chandler. There we go. So back and forth, and only 3 minutes left to go in this race. It's anyone's guess who's going to finish second in Pro-Am.
I can't believe this race has gone by that fast. So
is there a battle for the AM lead going on, by the way, between Clyde Bourne and Johnny Wu?
Well,
about 2 seconds apart, but they've got somebody in between them, haven't they?
It looks like they've got several cars in between them, because this is Bourne here in the front of this little group, and then you got like 3 cars in between them, and then there's Wu at the back of that group right there.
Yeah, so, not ideal.
No, that's going to be really tough to pass 3 guys that are all Pro-Am.
But it's not great for Clyde Bourne either, though, is it? Because Clive is like Thomas Kana, and I think Falconer in that group as well.
Tom Davidson. That's Tom Davidson right there.
Oh, yeah, it's not been a great day for Tom, is it?
No, that's 2 weeks in a row, man. Oh, look. Oh, he just got out of the way.
Kana going wide. We also see, by the way, Stefan Mellis has just lost third in AM to Mauro Gabbiati. So, Gabbiati on the fresher tyres, starting to make an impression, but has he left this charge a little bit too late to challenge for victory? As we see then, Chandler under attack once again. Roundtree wants round 2 here.
Yeah, it's coming back, isn't he? Been some good action up here. We got real quick. Oh, Mav Gardner and Seminar right there. Seminar. Gardner just got by him.
Yeah, well, not surprising. There's old Mav Gardner gets the bus up chicane. Pretty wrong indeed, as Seminar continues on his way. About 2 seconds between himself and the next car, I believe.
Where is the leader at right now?
Just coming up to Lecom at the moment is Kieran Sharp.
Okay, so
keeping Millington at bay by 1.3 seconds. So yeah, it should be the final lap, as Millington is really hustling through Lecom, the rear stepping out, and he knows he is running out of time here. Second would still be a good result for Millington, but it's Sharp who is putting himself right at the forefront in the championship. Jamie Nuttall, he's gained 2 positions from where he started, but 6th is the best he can do here. As we see Roundtree trying to go around the outside. Contact about to be made here, surely, as William Chandler holds his nerve. He's going to still be on the inside as they get to the second part, but it's all very, very brave from Thomas Roundtree, and Chandler has to give way.
Well, I tell you what, that's some good racing right there, battling for 2nd and 3rd in a Pro-Am class. That is some fantastic racing right there.
That could well prove to be decisive, of course. They are a long way down the championship. Thomas Roundtree in 10th. And where is Will Chandler? He is outside the top 10, I believe. I don't think he's got any
points
on the board, because this is his first appearance, of course. So, yeah. But anyway, then, here comes Kieran Sharp.
Yeah, Johnny Wu he's back here digging, but he's still got Davidson in between. And, you know, getting by Davidson to catch Bourne is going to be so tough, you know. I mean, Davidson is obviously extremely tough to pass, no matter what kind of...
Sharp's about to win the race, and I think he has just crossed the line. So here we go, through the final corner now. Kieran Sharp wins. It's 3 in a row for Lincolnshire, and then that puts us well and truly at the heart of this title fight going into the finale. Josh Millington is 2nd. Luciano Vitvoet is going to take 3rd in class from Hibma. They're 7/10 apart as they cross the line. There's Liam Giles, who flashes his lights. It's a 5th win of the season, I think. He's only not won the very first race, as there's Jamie Nuttall. Looking a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I got to say, though, man, 6th place in this field coming from the back of the pack at Spa like that, That's pretty impressive. I mean, you know, he made up
Well,
18 spots. I mean, I know he wanted a better result than that, but that's 18 spots. That's not easy to do, you know, here. So, and
true, but he beat Simoner and Davidson in class because they both pit out of the way in front of him.
well, you know, still, I mean, that's all part of it, you know, strategy and whatnot.
True,
And,
true. Staying out of trouble. Clyde Bourne, by the way, has crossed the line to win in AM from Johnny Wu
yes.
and Mauro Gabbiati.
Problem is when they clear out, the camera jumps to the scenic shots and wants to show me the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, pretty entertaining race.
No, man, look, that was good. I'm telling you, I looked up and you said there was 10 minutes to go in the race, and I thought we had been doing it for 5 minutes. It was that was good stuff, man. There was battles up and down that field from top to bottom the whole race. That's exactly what you want. These cars, this is a good group of guys too, but these cars and these guys and this track and everything, that was a great combo. You know, we had battles up and down the field, a little weird. So let's real quick while we're waiting on everybody to finish here. Did anybody with that pit stop strategy work?
Let's see. I think the most successful has got to be Mauro Gabbiati, who got up to third in AM, but he came out in fourth as well. Zazara was fifth, which is still one position better than where he qualified in class.
Right.
So I think the AMs were the most successful. Falconer, who was leading Pro-Am, fell down to sixth, and that's not good for him in the championship. I'm pretty sure Liam Giles has all but won the championship getting into the finale, given he was 50 points ahead already. And then in Pro, who was it? It was Simnor that stayed out, wasn't it? And he fell to seventh by the end. So, yeah, it didn't really work out for Simnor.
No.
Jamie Nuttall. I think Jamie Nuttall, as you said, given that
it was
messed up qualifying, amateur rotation.
Simner, Falconer, Gabbiati,
and then the two AMs with Gabbiati and Zazara.
And also
Tedeschi tried it originally, and then he pit out of it quite early was the problem.
So all right, let's see, who do we have here in our interview room? We have Hibna in there, so let's bring Hibna in and say hello. You do the thing.
Let's do that.
Go ahead and you do the interview here. I'll get it set up.
So we're now joined in the interview room by Marius Hibna. So, Marius, we've seen you cheered on in the chat at various times today, and you just missed out, I think, on the class podium in Pro, but it was a very entertaining race for you. In the end, you come home in fourth, which is one position better than where you qualified. So, on the whole, despite the podium being just out of reach, you've got to feel satisfied with that.
So satisfied with that. I mean, the guy ahead of me, Luciano, he's 10k iRating, so to finish under second behind a guy who's 10k iRating is just insane. So I'm so pleased with that result.
Wow, is he really a 10k iRating? He sure is, isn't he? Holy cow!
Yeah, it's insane.
Sorry, I got caught off guard. I didn't mean to jump in, but wow, yeah.
And of course, that matches your best result from earlier in the season, in the sprint race in round 2, where you also came fourth. One more race to go, Marius. Do you fancy giving it another go, ending the season on a high and trying to get in the top 5, or is it just a wait and see sort of basis?
I don't know. I've never really driven Watkins Glen before. I think that's the next round, so I'll see how it goes next week. Definitely plan on being there and doing my best as always. I feel like I might be more competitive next week because I felt like the Fords were extremely quick here today at Spa. So maybe the BMW will be a bit more competitive at Watkins Glen. So yeah, we'll see next week.
Yeah, I guess we will. But thanks for coming to talk to us, Marius. Final question from Jim before we go.
No, not really. I was just going to say I'm more shocked that you haven't driven Watkins Glen. You know, that seems to be one of the higher used tracks, you know, in iRacing in general. It's a great track. If they're running the no chicane version of it, which I don't know right off the top of my head if they are, the no chicane version will give those Ford GTs a straightaway that, you know, that they like. If the chicane is in there, it's going to cut that straightaway in half for them. So that'll certainly be an advantage for the BMW and some of the other cars that maybe don't have the straight line speed that the GT does. But Watkins Glen is a fun track I would definitely say get you some practice in. You gotta. It's a track you got to find the spots, but once you do, it's a fun track to drive and it's fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. I recently got it because I've started practicing for the 6 hour coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think I got the track a few days ago because I've started practicing that as well, and I must say I've really been enjoying it so far. It's a great
Yeah,
track.
no, it's a great track. I mean, that section down through the boot and all of that is a lot of fun, So, yeah, it's one of my favorites, to be honest. And it's as far as the United States go, I think you could easily argue that it's one of the most iconic. It was the original Formula One track in the United States and stuff like that. So, but anyway, congratulations, man. You're running up there with the big dogs. I mean, running right behind a guy with a 10K I rating. That's pretty impressive. And you definitely had a good run. You had some good battles
positions with me as well.
Yeah, you had some good battles out there. That was fun to watch. So, congratulations again, and we'll hopefully talk to you next week as well.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
So we let Marius Hibner go. Nobody else wants to talk to us. So it's pretty much a similar situation to last week where only one person.
Can you blame them? I mean, it's you and I. You can't blame them for that. No, I think, what are your thoughts? I enjoyed the heck out of this myself.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty unpredictable, especially at the start there. That safety car for the collisions at the back certainly mixed things up at the front. Kieran Sharp really had to work to get back into the lead there, which was quite exciting to watch, even if it was people not in his own class he was fighting. And for Liam Giles and Clive Bourne, they sort of just had to wait for the people ahead of them to pit, essentially. But there were some good fights for second and third in both classes, to be honest, as well.
Yeah,
Roundtree and Chandler having a good fight there at the end as well. And your friend Matt Acton in P4.
Yeah, well, I had a little thing for Matt, but I didn't get to do it. So real quick. So he made this like superhero move, man. He just goes, it was in the touring cars, I believe. And he just goes flying between these two cars. Crazy move. I mean, it was insane. It looked so cool. It was one of the best moves I've ever seen. And so I started calling him Matt Action. I started calling him Matty Action. So I kind of turned him into a superhero, and then they talked him into putting this crazy, Kieran put a crazy picture on his roof of him and of his car. And it was just, we were having a lot of fun with it. And I had a little something for him tonight, but I promised I wouldn't do it unless he was in some action. And I never really got a chance to catch him in some action tonight. So we'll save it for another time. But, yeah, I mean, I love this group of guys, and this is a great league. Anybody looking for a place to come sim race, it does a lot of different things. This league, this league offers several different types of racing. Bunch of guys, some really fast guys. I mean, even guys with 10K I ratings, and you got guys out here racing with them that are 1,000 I rating. So it's a great league. I'm sure they're extremely helpful as far as setups and just driving tips and all that kind of stuff, because they're all good guys. So but anyway, for me, that's about all I've got.
Yep. Yeah, you certainly said your piece and then a little bit more.
Yeah,
but, yeah. Speaking of, that's lovely to hear. But yeah, Matt Acton, you reminded me of like Action Man, which used to be a
that was kind of where I was.
Figure we had in oh, you had it in the US as well, because I
knew about him. I think you might have even mentioned him last week or something. We were talking about it, but yeah, no, it's
I do tend to repeat myself quite a bit in these commentaries. The more that I do. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I enjoyed it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, okay. Me too. And yeah, so we'll set up for a really, really fascinating then title decider next week at Watkins Glen. Be sure not to miss that next Friday then. But from me, Edward Hunter, from him, Jim Cunningham, everybody here at TSRC, it's goodbye for now. And you never know, we might see you on track in the future, and you get to be part of our own commentary streams by us covering your exploits. So look forward to that. Goodbye for now, and have a very lovely evening.